The silence in Cleveland is over. The whispers are done. Jimmy Haslam, the man who signs the checks and pulls the strings, just made the loudest move of the offseason. Forget Joe Flacco, forget Kenny Pickett, forget Dillon Gabriel. According to multiple reports, and even Colin Cowherd himself, Shaduer Sanders isn't just a Brown, he's the Brown. The starting quarterback for Week 1. Period. No more debates, no more cloak and dagger roster politics. Haslam made his decision, and this one didn't trickle down from the coaching staff. It shot straight from the top. And here's the kicker. This wasn't Stefanski's call. It wasn't Andrew Berry's plan. This was Haslam flexing his power. He didn't just endorse Sanders, he handpicked him, overruling a coaching staff that clung to veterans like a security blanket. Draft day wasn't strategy, it was sabotage. Stefanski and Berry reached for Dillon Gabriel in the 3rd round, way earlier than anyone expected. Why? To block Shedeur, to force Haslam's hand. They wanted a shield, a reason to delay what was coming. But Haslam wasn't playing checkers. He saw the board differently. And when Sanders was still available in the 5th round, he pounced. He didn't hesitate. He didn't blink. He knew exactly what he wanted. And that pick sent shockwaves through the entire building. See, Shaduer didn't fall because of talent. Everyone knows that. He fell because of bias. Because of the last name, the flash, the aura, the confidence that rubbed old school scouts the wrong way. They didn't like the watch flex. They didn't like the way he walked, like he knew something they didn't. But here's the uncomfortable truth. He does. The tape doesn't lie, the production doesn't lie, and now, even in limited reps, the building can't lie either. Not a single quarterback in that room is better than Shaduer Sanders. Not Flacco, not Pickett, not Gabriel. And everyone inside the Browns facility knows it. But that's what makes this story wild. From the second he walked through the door, they tried to treat him like an afterthought. 5th round label stamped across his forehead. Developmental. In NFL speak, that means sit down, stay quiet, maybe we'll talk about you next year. But Shaduer never carried himself like a developmental guy. He walked in like a starter. He demanded reps. He commanded the huddle. He carried himself like someone who didn't need a draft slot to validate his worth. And the craziest part? He backed it up. First OTA session, he looked nothing like a rookie. He diagnosed defenses pre-snap, delivered throws on timing, and ran the offense with composure that veterans envy. He wasn't playing scout team quarterback. He was playing like the quarterback. And that confidence, that refusal to stay in the box they built for him, shook the foundation of the Browns' quarterback room. The script the staff had written, veterans first, rookies hidden, was shredded by a 5th round pick they never even wanted. This is where it gets messy. Stefanski has a type. Quiet system guys. Soldiers who keep their heads down, stick to the script, never draw too much attention. Sanders? He's the opposite. He's bold, branded, unapologetic, and magnetic. He thrives under the spotlight. He doesn't run from expectations, he invites them. And that scared the staff. Not because he couldn't play, but because he could. Every rep he took made it harder to justify keeping him sidelined. Every pass he completed made the Gabriel pick look more like desperation than vision. And Haslam saw it all. He wasn't content to let politics bury talent. He'd done it before. Chased big names like Johnny Manziel, Baker Mayfield, Deshaun Watson. But this time, he wasn't chasing hype. He was protecting the one quarterback on the board who could change everything. He made the call. Sanders is starting Week 1. No ifs, no maybes, no we'll see. And the owner of the Cleveland Browns just slammed his fist on the table, and the reverberations are being felt across the league. If you think that was dramatic, wait until you hear this. While most rookies spend their downtime relaxing before camp, Sanders was grinding. Not just lifting weights or tossing the ball around, he was in full Browns uniform, pads, helmet, cleats, running live reps at his father Dion's facility. And of course, one clip leaked. Just enough to shake the fan base. Sanders in brown and orange, whipping passes like it was already Sunday. No coaches, no teammates, no cameras. Just him visualizing the job that he already believes is his. You don't put on the full uniform in June unless you're obsessed. You don't run drills in game pants unless you see yourself under the lights. That clip wasn't just practice, it was prophecy. Sanders wasn't preparing like a rookie. He was manifesting as the starter. And fans? They felt it. Social media exploded. That one clip said more. He's claiming the throne before anyone else can sit in it. Meanwhile, Andrew Berry, the GM, has been forced to pivot. Right after the draft, he played it safe. We're excited to develop Sanders, the classic GM line. But lately, his tone is shifting. Suddenly, he's praising Shaduer's accuracy, his leadership, his maturity. Suddenly, the narrative isn't developmental anymore, it's competitive. That's a huge shift. You don't talk like that about a guy you're planning to redshirt. You talk like that when you know he's knocking on the door and the lock is about to break. And it's not just inside the building. The fan base is on fire. Browns fans haven't been this electric in decades. Not for Baker, not even for Watson. This is different. Walk into training camp, and it's a sea of Sanders jerseys. Custom stitched, bootlegged, hand-painted if they have to be. Fans are chanting his name before he's even taken a preseason snap. Younger fans are quoting Dayon. Older fans, burned by decades of quarterback failures, are daring to ask, could this really be the one? That's not hype, that's hope. And hope in Cleveland is dangerous. Because once the fanbase chooses their guy, the organization has no choice but to follow. That's the storm Stefanski is staring down. If he benches Sanders for Flacco or every incompletion, every stalled drive, every red zone failure will turn into an indictment. And when 60,000 voices demand Sanders, Stefanski won't just be coaching for wins, he'll be coaching for his job. But even if he caves and starts Sanders under pressure, he faces another problem: trust. Sanders will remember that this wasn't conviction, it was necessity. That they didn't believe until they had no other choice. And that dynamic, that tension between quarterback and coach, it can eat a locker room alive. But here's the twist. Jimmy Haslam doesn't care about any of that. He doesn't care about egos in the front office. He doesn't care about... And he believes Sanders is the only quarterback who can deliver it. He's seen enough. He's all in. This is bigger than football. This is about control. About an owner who decided he wasn't going to let bias, politics, or pride rob his franchise of a star. About a rookie who refuses to wait his turn, refuses to be boxed in, and refuses to bow to tradition. And about a fan base that's already crowned him before he's thrown a single touchdown in the regular season. Cleveland hasn't had a quarterback who feels inevitable in decades. Sanders might be that guy. The swagger, the obsession, the preparation, the belief. He's already acting like a franchise quarterback. The only question left is whether the coaching staff catches up or gets swept aside. Because this isn't just a decision anymore. It's a reckoning. Jimmy Haslam has drawn his line. Shaduer Sanders is the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns, and there's no walking it back. So what do you think? Does Stefanski survive this power struggle? Or are we already watching the dawn of a new era in Cleveland? One where Shaduer Sanders isn't just a draft pick, but the face of the franchise.